Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Deborah Jones. I'm the host for Blue Table Talk. And how are you guys doing tonight? And tonight we'll be talking about podcasting and the all the effects of podcasting because I have someone here who's one of the top 20 podcasters, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how we get started and how he got started, and what made him to become the one of the top 20 podcasts. But before we do that, I'm gonna do as usual. I'll do a little housekeeping, and we know that COVID is still out there. As a matter of fact, is prevalent more now than it ever has been, because it is rising in all 50 states. So we got to take better care of ourselves and do what is needs to be done. There's more than 248,000 lives have been taken by this deadly pandemic that's called Corona. So, and we've got to take care of ourselves and others. The cases are rising in every state. Hospital ICUs are filling with people testing positive. Um, Also, the vaccine makeup Pfizer. He states that the vaccine is now ready, and as soon as they get approval, they will send it out. With will you be the first one to take it? I know I won't. So there's no way that I will be the first one, or even one of them, to take it right now. They have to be more prevalent than that. I'm just saying. I mean, it's up to you whether you want to take it or not. And Beaumont, the numbers are down. Last week, I think it was Monday, it was 24%. It's down to 16%. So we have to be more proactive about what we're doing. We got to wear our masks. We got wherever we go, not just over our face, not just over our mouth, over our nose also, and just take care of ourselves and take care of others, because as wearing the mask not only take care of the other people, it takes care of you also. Now, if you go to the store, the shelves are getting empty because it's going right back to where we was when we had that shutdown. Whereas you can only buy so many items, like one item, and then you can't buy anything else. But the shelves are getting empty. Products aren't coming in. I went to Sam's today, and they had a whole lot of items that we probably could use. But I went back later on, it was gone. So let's take care of ourselves. Don't forget that we can get rapid testing from Beaumont Urgent Care. You could go there and get tested over there, and it can be rapid. I think it takes like 20 minutes before your results will come in. Also, MD Kids Pediatrics appointments are required but suggested, and that's on 490 I-10 North Furnish Road, Suite 100, right here in Beaumont, Texas. And you could just Google coronavirus testing, and they will tell you a lot of places where they're giving, like CVS, Walgreens. They're not rapid testing, but these two businesses I mentioned, they are rapid testing. Okay, so if viewers, let's go ahead and hit share, because we're getting ready to talk to Kyrie, and we're going to ask him a couple of questions, and we're going to get started on this. Hi, Kyrie, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and you? Hey, everybody.
Good. So, Kyrie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 26 years old. I live in 26.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be 27 next month, actually. But
okay.
I'm a podcaster.
Are you Sagittarius?
I am a Sagittarius.
That's my boy. That's it.
There it is. Sag Nation.
Hey, okay.
I'm a podcaster. I have a book club. Reading is my favorite thing to do. I enjoy doing creative endeavors. I'm big on family, and that's a little synopsis of me.
So your book club, are you the head of the book club, or
yeah, I am.
Yourself? Okay, what's the name of it?
Kyrie's Book Club.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So y'all read all sorts of books, or what?
Hopefully, maybe this will be the next book. I just picked this up, so.
Okay,
Promised Land by Obama. Yeah.
Yes. I knew it was coming out. I couldn't remember when, but now you say it came out today.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be picking one up for myself. Great. So, Kyrie, so you're 26 years old. You're a podcaster, and do you like doing it?
I love it.
You love it?
I
So
love it.
you were named one of the top 20 podcasters. Tell me about that.
So Yahoo and Medium.com both put me at number 10 in their top 20 podcasts to listen to. So that was a pretty big deal, you know. When I found out, I was like very happy, but I always keep this in, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. But, and I always have this video in my head. He was in the NBA Finals and he was up 2-0. And so one of the reporters asked him, like, why are you in such a bad mood? Like, why are you not smiling? You're up 2-0. And Kobe answered, what's there to smile about? The job's not finished. So when I had that honor, I was like, okay, I'm going to celebrate this the night of, but tomorrow it's time to get back to work, because ultimately the job is not finished for me and the rest of my goals. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what attributed you to become a podcaster?
Well, originally I had this show called The Kyrie Show. Now, if you search around Facebook, you will probably find some old videos of, I did an infomercial called Mr. Whoop That ASS. Excuse me. It was like, you know, and did a couple of other videos like that. But with the sketch show, you know, it's very time consuming because you have to write scripts, you have to find people to act, you know, it's a lot that goes into it. You have to edit the video. So I was like, what can I do in the meantime to continue putting content out? And so I was like, what do I do well? I talk well. So I started a podcast, and originally it was just me talking. Like the first couple of episodes, if you go back and listen, it's just me talking about different things, just me, no guest. And I realized very quickly that no matter how good you think you talk, it is very difficult to hold the conversation by yourself. So yes. So I was like, I'm gonna start bringing guests on. And so when I started doing that, the show kind of took off pretty fast. Just the conversations we were having is that, you know, a lot of conversations that people can relate to. And so when I started bringing guests on and having these different conversations with people, then the show kind of took off from there.
Okay, so what was one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
What is one thing I wish I would have known when I started? That's a good question. Let me
Well, it's not what to talk about, because
yeah, I got that. Man, let me. What is that? Oh, yes, that's it. I wish I would have known how hard it was to talk to yourself for that long. Yeah. That's what it was, because they have this guy on TV. He's a sports commentator. His name is Colin Cowherd, and this man, like, he has like I guess you can call her a co-host, but she does like a segment. But this man talks for 3 hours by himself, and I'm like, dude, like, that is impressive, because I tried to do it for 30 minutes and it was hard for me. So I wish I would have known that. That's what I wish I would have known. I'm starting off how hard it is to carry a conversation by yourself.
Yeah. Now the name of the podcast is All That Podcast.
Yes.
So where did you get that name from? Because
actually, my best friend came up with that name. But the reason that name sticks is because when people would, you know, come up and ask me, what do you talk about? Politics, religion, sports. I would say I talk about all that.
Oh,
you know?
Cool.
Yeah, because because I cover everything. Like, me as a, like, my another one of my best friends is like my producer, and you know, we work together on a lot of creative things. And we were sitting down talking about, okay, what do we want the show to be about? And then I quickly realized that I have too much to me to box that into one single, you know, dynamic. So I was like, I'm gonna have to cover everything. And actually, I used to watch Oprah a lot. As you can see, I have a book club and I have an interview show, right? So I used to watch Oprah. You know, I used to be on, my grandmothers used to be watching Oprah, and I would see how she would, one one day she might have a celebrity on. The next day she was talking about, relationships. The next day she might talk about child predators. The next day. So it's like she covered a multitude of bases in her show.
Right.
And so I kind of followed her blueprint with my show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that?
Biggest failure. You asking some good questions.
I'm making you think. I'm making you.
You are making me think. You are making me think. My biggest failure.
Because I know that everything hasn't been successful. There were sometimes you had some drop points. Oh man, next time I do that, I'm gonna do something else different from that.
Okay. As far as my show goes, I would say my biggest failure. I wouldn't necessarily call it a failure, but for the sake of the question,
right.
My biggest failure. I had this journalist named Torre on my show. Mm-hmm. So for a lot of the Black audience would know Torre from, he did the R. Kelly interview when R. Kelly was like, how old is, when you say teenager, how old is that? Like that famous quote from R. Kelly that people talk about all the time. Torre is the one who did that. Mm-hmm. He worked on MSNBC, he worked for MTV. And when I was in college, I actually read 2 of his books. So for me to be interviewing him was like, oh man, I'm interviewing Torre. Like, let me be prepared. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, not stressing, but I had all these questions trying to prepare, and I never prepare for interviews. Like my biggest thing is it's going to be free flowing conversation. Like I would have things that I know I'm going to talk about, like a base, but I would never prepare, like write questions down. But for him, I felt like I was over prepared. And then when we got to the interview, I felt like I didn't do as well as I usually do because I over prepared. Even though, we would email back and forth. He was like, you did great. I'm like, okay, you're just being nice. So that's probably my biggest failure. And the lesson I learned from that was just no matter who I'm interviewing, just to stick to what I know and what works.
I know that when I bring my guests on, I have to prepare myself. I have to write my questions down. And usually the day of, like 2:00, and I don't know why I picked 2:00 is when I start writing my questions down. I have like a sense of a sense of a thought, and I go out of my garage. I fix my garage like a patio, and I go out of my garage and I sit there for a minute and I just meditate. But with you, I had to think about it for a while. Now, what am I going to talk about? And so last night, I jumped up out of my bed and said, okay, I need to write some stuff down.
Yeah.
I have to write it down, except for when I'm talking about something that hit home. If I talk about like I had something on like girlfriends, I don't need to write stuff like that because that's my girlfriends. Or stuff like a family. I don't need to write because I have a family. So other people, my guests, some people, that the doctors or whatever, I have to write it down. Politics, I have to write it down. So, yeah, we I mean, you're young. You probably don't need to have to write it down because I'm up in age. I need to write it down. Hey, so what are your best resources that have helped you along the way?
My best resources? I think I always say that people study math, they study biology, they study all this. I study people. So like what I was telling you about Oprah, she's a person that I study, or, and then I study other podcasters also. So my greatest resource has been other people, other people that I respect and that is flourishing in the field that I'm in. And I watch them and I, try to see what I can take from them or learn from them and put that into what I'm doing. So I would say other people have been my greatest resource,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's good because, you can't study other people, you sit there and watch them and say, okay, I see what they're doing on this. I see what they're doing on that. And so with your podcasting, do you go live or what? How do you do the audio? How do you do yours?
Yeah, mine is pre-recorded. So when it comes out, it has been recorded, on the previous day or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go back and pull it and say, okay, I'm gonna play this one, or is that how it's done, or what?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Last season I would record on a Monday and release on a Tuesday.
Okay.
This year, just because I'm trying to step up my production, and people going to be, after being named top 20, people going to be expecting a certain
right.
So I'm trying to step that up. So this year my plan is to record all my episodes for this season before I release one, so that way I can edit the way I want to. We can edit the videos the way we want to. We can just do a lot of stuff to make it look like really, really professional.
Yeah. Let me talk to my viewers for a minute. Viewers, which if you don't mind, will you hit your share button so we can share everybody, so everybody can know that we have Kyrie Nouveau on here, one of the top 20 podcasters that we have here. So don't forget to hit your share button. Okay, so back to Kyrie. Kyrie, what streamline are you using, and do you think it's the best?
Say it one more time.
What streamline do you use, and do you think it's the best?
I just the audio, it goes in the computer, and then I upload it everywhere. So it goes to Apple Podcasts, it goes to Google Play, it goes to Spotify, and it also goes to Anchor, which I highly recommend Anchor for people that's getting into podcasting. It's free. If you don't want to spend money on microphones and all that, it helps you with your money, and it shows you all your statistics and all that. So
how do you get to Anchor? Is it
it's an app. It's an app. You just download it. Yeah.
Okay. Like I do StreamYard.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what's the best thing about podcasting?
The conversations, easily. I feel like I don't even feel like I'm working per se when I'm podcasting, because all my life I've been that friend that friends come to for advice and all that. I'm that person.
Oh,
so yeah, and I love love deep conversation. So to me, I'm just doing what I would normally do anyway with these conversations. But people, I feel like the basis of everything that I do is to either help somebody or enlighten somebody through either the conversations I'm having on my podcast, through the book I recommend in my book club, or charity work that I do, or whatever. The basis is to help inspire, to help grow, to help people. So the conversations is the best part, for sure. I feel like I've had some great conversations on my podcast. Interviewed one of the survivors from the Santa Fe school shooting. I interviewed, it's just so many. We have conversations on relationships, conversations on one of my good friends. She got shot multiple times, and she still lived to tell her story. I got a friend that was a virgin for the longest time, in this day and age, unheard of. We talked about that. We took all these conversations. I feel like people can really learn and be inspired by.
So not to deviate from the podcasting, but you're speaking of the book club.
Yeah.
So do you do your book club online? I know y'all not meeting. Are y'all still?
No. It's always been online.
It's always been online. So how do you pick people? How do they?
Well, I have an Instagram page that you can follow called Kyrie's Book Club, and also an email. So people were signing up through the email on my website, and we just have discussions through the email, or I have discussions online. That's kind of the way I do things, because it harasses so many people that it's hard to control.
Right.
So, yeah.
So do you put an age limit on your book club?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not at all.
Not that I want to be a part of it. I'm just
yeah.
I like to read, and I was trying to start a book club earlier, but nobody wanted to. Look like they weren't ready to. I don't know, but just by us being in this Corona pandemic, looked like they wanted to join a book club or something. but
Mhm.
I was interested right at the point. I'm gonna pick it back up again. So let me ask you a question, Kyrie. We were talking about your guests. How do you choose your guests?
Is anybody who inspires me, or if I feel like they have a story that somebody could learn from or be inspired from, or anybody who makes me think. So it starts with me first. It's kind of like when a music artist, you know, how did you know that was a hit song? Because it made me dance. Like at first, it started with the person, like the artist. You know, like you felt something, and then you knew that other people probably would feel the same way. So that's how I pick. That's how I pick my guests based on how they make me feel.
So do you have someone to like if you wanted to? I'm just using the name. Like you wanted to bring President Barack Obama on. Do you
Yeah.
have one to go out or to contact him, or do you contact him yourself? How do you do that?
I've been contacting myself. I just got an assistant, but yeah, the first.
Oh, you will, huh?
But yeah, I've been doing all that myself, and it's crazy that the guests that I've been able to get is like I said, Torre. I've interviewed Jay-Z's nephew. I've interviewed all these people like that. People would be like, always asking me, "How did you get these people on?" You know, I reached out. That's I reached out. Simple. I mean, it wasn't any secret formula to that. But I feel like with people like Barack, of course, you really have to like work to get that interview. But with a lot, some bigger people, you would have to know how to navigate through that, like getting, the people around them. Kind of like what I'm doing. I'm a big Jay-Z fan, and Beyonce. So I have Beyonce's creative director on my list to interview this year. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'll get her creative director on my show. Then he'll remember. Then my name might come up in conversations with her. Something. That's how I think. So I'm trying to attack the people around, in the camp first before I get to that big interview. Yeah.
I know the way I get someone on my show, I actually either be their Facebook friend or reach out to them in other ways. So I remember when I got this doctor on, and he's from Las Vegas, and he was talking about the pandemic earlier when it came out in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I just reached out to him and asked him, would he be a guest on my show? From a little small town, and I was starting this podcast and blah blah this and blah blah that. And he said, "Yeah, I didn't know what to do." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and that's how I felt with some of these.
We've been friends ever since. He said, "Yeah, but let me come on your show. Let me tell you about this." And I'm like, "No problem. I'll make if I have somebody that night, I'll make room for him another night. And so I won't be able to lose him. If I wanted him at some other time. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to get like if I have a guest on. I don't know how you do this. You ask the guest to come on. And then at the last minute, they back out. What do you do in that instance?
So I have a story for that. So I was supposed to interview the Rockets head of player personnel. So we were talking, and she was coming on the show. So the day of, I pulled up to the studio. Okay, she late. Okay. No, actually, she wasn't late. I take that back. She texted me right when I got to the studio saying that she couldn't make it. The reason she couldn't make it because her brother-in-law, which is Juwan Howard, he was an NBA player. He was a part of one of the most famous college teams, Michigan, the Fab Five, with Jalen Rose and all that. So he had just got a head coaching job, right? So she had to stay where she was to celebrate that. So I was like, dang. So I was like, that's when the hustle mode came in for me. So I was like, okay, she bailed. So let me see. I already paid for the studio time. So let me see if I can get somebody else in here. I remember this other musician that I've been trying to get on, been talking to. And so I hit her up. I was like, hey, what you doing? Can you be at the studio in 30 minutes? She was like, yeah. So bam. That's how I handled that situation.
I know. You really, really have to think fast.
Yes, you do.
You really have to think fast. And the thing was, I had to think fast. That's how I had my girlfriend show that one night. Because the person who was supposed to be on At the last minute, they said, "Oh, I'm not going to do it, and I won't be able to be on." So I said, "Oh God, what I'm going to do? I got a show to come on, and about tomorrow night. I don't have anyone." So just thought, okay, girlfriend night. So then I brought my girlfriends on. You know, the girlfriend's gonna have your back,
right?
You know, I brought them on, and it was a great show. It ended up being a great show. So I thank God for that one. Okay, so now I'm just beginning this podcasting business. What is the thing you can advise me to do, knowing that I'm a beginner?
Be consistent. It's the biggest thing. Be consistent. For a couple of reasons. One, obviously, the more you do something, the better you get at it, right? And that's if you're being intentional with it, like intentionally trying to get better. And if you keep doing it, you're eventually going to get better.
Right.
For that reason, you should be consistent. And the second reason you should be consistent is because of your audience. So you don't want your audience to be like, okay, Miss Deborah is not on, you know, it's been, you know, a month. We haven't heard from her. Like, what's up? You know? So yeah, consistency is huge. And consistency, like I said, you will get better, and by you getting better, you will start being more confident in what you do.
And like, I love it. I really enjoy it, and I love when my listening artists come on and they talk to me and tell me, and, give me questions, because I like people to give me questions so I can tell the person who I'm my guest, whoever I'm interviewing. So when they don't give me questions, then I make sure I have my own questions.
Yeah.
And then I feed off the person who's talking to me. So I like doing it, and I think I'm praying that I continue to do it. So this, like I said, I started in June, so I'm praying that I can continue with that. And every month I always get the next month ready. So then I'll call them, and it's just like I contacted you, and I'm gonna keep in touch with you. And the day before, I say, okay, I'm ready. This is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna send you the link to come on. So I try to keep in touch with the person, my guest, whoever I have there. Yeah. So I don't know. So how do you know people listen to your podcast?
How do I know they listen? Because I look at the numbers afterwards, and I just see how many people listen, pretty much. Yeah.
Do they listen to, because you come on so many of them, do they listen to one more than they listen to the other, or what?
Interesting enough, this is another advice for a podcaster. If you want to get your numbers up, do an episode about Michael Jackson, because anything with his name attached to it is going to sell. I did an interview on Leaving Neverland, that documentary that came out on HBO, and that has been my biggest episode I've ever done. Yes, that's why the media loves.
Did they think that you would Neverland?
No, that's why the media loves talking about Michael Jackson, because they're going to get great ratings, and I see why. I saw it with my own show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I could say Michael Jackson's on his way back.
Yeah, yeah. Say something like, put that in the title. It's going to be, your number's going to go woo.
They gonna say, that Deborah Jones lost her mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
They like Michael Jackson, and they love Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan in the world.
Yes. I don't know about all that. I was before you, so I was a little bigger than you.
I don't know.
What is one thing you said or did when someone came to you and said that you are one of the top 20 podcasters? What did they?
Honestly,
or did you? Go ahead.
Honestly, all I was thinking when it happened was that I'm not telling anybody, and the reason why is because you have these instances where you say something and it doesn't pan out, right? You tell people like, hey, I just got this news, and then it doesn't happen. So, and that happened to me. So I was focused on trying to keep it to myself for the longest time until it actually came out. And so, but I was happy. I was happy when I found out.
So they came to you. I mean, did they write you or what? How did it? Emailed you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did they do after that?
or there's like, we're gonna put you or gonna feature you in this month's whatever in the magazine and or the website. And I was like, then I replied back, yeah, ask permission, but I was like, yeah, of course.
Well, don't be surprised. What magazine was it, or is it?
Say again.
What magazine did it put you in?
I was in a magazine. I was in a magazine, another Voyage Houston, but this one was online, like the Yahoo.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, cool. And why didn't you want to tell someone?
Just because I've had experiences where I shared good news too soon.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't end up, panning out. I didn't want to put no mojo on it, no bad mojo.
but it's a good thing, and
yeah,
and people like good news. I know your mom was excited when you told her.
Oh, she was.
All moms are, I like to see our children, do good things,
Mm-hmm.
People talk about the younger generation in bad ways, but when they do good things, they don't say anything about it.
Right.
And and that's wrong. You should say it whether it was good or bad. And
what I say. You know what I say to that though?
What?
Okay. So my cousins Ashley and Bobby Jr. They turned out pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because of
good.
Yeah, that's because of their parents.
I gotta know those children too, huh?
Yeah, that's because of their parents.
Right.
So I say you're talking about this generation, but it's because of the parenting. So it falls back on you at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
But people don't look at it that way.
Yes.
The world, the society don't look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby still looks at it like, okay, Bobby and Ashley, when they grew up, they were like this. But now, here they are now, they're, they graduated from college, they graduated high school, put it like that, they graduated from high school, they graduated from college, and now Ashley has a master's, Bobby's working on his master's, and now, they didn't see that then. But they're now looking at it in a different angle now. Exactly. But it's not right. It's not right. So whenever your child does bad, you praise them on that. Like you can do better, or she can do better, and then they'll do better later. So I mean that's the way I feel. I'm old school.
I agree.
Okay, so what are the three? Who are three people who have been in the most influential to you? Three people.
That's tough.
I know. Just three. Well,
okay, we're talking like in my
five.
Are we talking about like my personal life or career wise?
Either or. You give me three in your personal. Give me three in your career. How about that?
Three. I'm gonna do my career because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings in my family, or if I don't include like my grandpa, he'll be like, "Why you include me?" Or if I don't include somebody, he'll be like, "Oh, yeah." So I'm gonna just do my career,
Okay. I want that podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, in your career life.
I would have to say, dang, this is tough. I'm gonna give you five, maybe.
Okay.
Michael Jackson. Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah, obviously. She's the blueprint of what I do. Right. Oprah, Beyonce, and Jay-Z.
Okay, so tell me about Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Beyonce, one thing I learned from her, other than she's an outstanding entertainer, obviously, and all this, one thing that her and Kobe have is the work ethic, like willing to put in 15 hours a day, and very focused, narrow-minded when it comes to what they want to achieve. And one thing I also learned from, because I always say I live in the future, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking about when I'm going to be in their positions, right? So I'm just studying them. So one thing I learned from her and Jay-Z is they control the narrative of their celebrity. Like a lot of celebrities these days, you know too much about, or they're always open, but they have done a good job of keeping things private within like their personal lives. Like, yeah, we saw the Solange thing, but if it wasn't for a camera in the elevator, we would have never known. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they've done a good job of being in Hollywood, but not being in Hollywood. Like they, go in Hollywood to do their work, but then they have their lives and they keep it very personal and to themselves. Like you don't know all their business like every other celebrity's business because they're just out there. So I think they did a good job of controlling that narrative, and Beyonce in particular has done a good job of making you focus on her art and not a scandal surrounding her. Like with a lot of other artists, like Britney Spears, you're focused on, when she cut all her hair off, or another pop star, you might focus on a scandal. But with her, the first thing you're gonna think about is her art, and I think that was purposely done. So yeah.
Yeah. So they do work together.
Yes.
Yeah, they work together. So and that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I see that now that their daughter, I didn't realize that child was that old. The oldest daughter.
Blue.
Blue. I didn't know that they're working on her to become whatever they are.
She just narrated a book.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, this child is really growing up in front of us, and we don't even know it. So yeah. Oh, cool. Is it that what they're doing? You want to be more in the limelight? Is that what you're trying to tell me, or what?
Do I want to be more in the limelight?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I do for this reason. It's because it gives me a bigger platform.
Okay.
Yeah, to help. I mean, not only for my career, but to, like, I heard Muhammad Ali say this. He was like, if I wasn't Muhammad Ali, like he couldn't do all the things he does for people, on the scale that he does it. You know what I mean? So with that platform, I'll be able to do a lot more than I could right now, obviously. So yeah. Right
now, they have a lot of podcasters out there. A lot.
Yeah, it's very saturated.
Right. Like every time you wake up, somebody is starting a podcast. So I don't know. It's the world is just full of it now right now. I don't know. Can podcasting be a full-time job?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how is that? I mean, who I watch. Oh man, keep talking. I'm gonna tell you that man's name, and I know his name because he come on every night, and I watch him every night, unfiltered. What's his name? He was a newscaster. Now he's
the Isaiah Factor.
Huh?
Isaiah Carey. What's his
name?
He's
blah blah unfiltered. God dog, I have to put it up on my phone and look at it again. But as I'm gonna tell you who it is.
Okay.
But you say it could be a full-time job?
Yes. Joe Rogan just signed $100 million contract with Spotify for his podcast. So, really? Yes, that just like to make everybody else's podcast more valuable right there. Like that's telling you that the value they put on podcasting, if he signed $100 million contract, there's money there, So even now with my merchandise and I have paying subscribers to my podcast, I can't quit my job right now, but it'll get there.
Right,
quickly, probably. So there's plenty of examples of people who already, obviously he just signed a $100 million contract, so he don't have to work again if he don't want to. But yes, it can definitely become a full-time job through merchandise, through getting sponsorships, through getting paid subscribers, live shows, which is kind of hard to do right now because of COVID. But there's ways. It's fun. It's a new medium, and people are figuring out different ways to monetize it. But it's definitely possible to do it full time.
And the person who I was thinking about was Roland Martin.
Martin, okay. Yeah.
I'm watching him all night and all day and all night because I like to listen to him because I mean he's heavy, you know, and so
Yeah.
I like to listen to his podcast. Now I didn't know anything about Spotify. You know, like I said, you know, if it's not Facebook for me, if it's not, I'm just not learning how to get on Instagram. I've never been on Twitter. I need to be on Twitter because Donald Trump on there all the time. So I need to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But as I go along, as I do this, I'm doing better now as trying of these places of going Twitter and stuff like that. I asked her to give me a Twitter account. Mama, you don't need a Twitter account.
Yeah, stay out there. You don't want to get on there.
You don't want Instagram either, you know. But I don't know why y'all don't want to put us on these accounts, you know.
Nah. Stick to Facebook.
I mean, it was like hell when I said I'm on Facebook. Oh Lord. Okay, so if they say Kyrie Nouveau, I'm going to put you on a billboard. What if your billboard had with anything? What would it say, and what would it be, and or why?
Yeah, these questions. Good question.
I know your mama love me.
It would be if I'm getting a billboard, then that means I made it, right? At that point.
You made it.
So it would be I retired my mom because that is my goal. You know what I mean? It would be I retired my mom. That is my goal.
Wait a minute, hold on, Kyrie. You hear that, Taylor? Your billboard gonna say I'm retiring my mom?
Yes.
Oh.
That's when I know I made it. Right there. Like when I can make that phone call.
You gave me chills.
Yeah.
You gave me chills.
That's my goal. I used to have that written in my room somewhere. It was written. It's like
wow.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
My mama. I knew she was watching.
Yeah, she didn't like it, son.
She don't miss nothing. I mean,
that's good. That's good. You know, that shows you. I told you, mom goes 150, 200% when it comes to their children. You know, so that's good.
I must say this though. I must say this because my mama doesn't miss anything that I'm in, but also my girlfriend doesn't miss anything that I'm in either. So she's right there with my mama, you know, watching everything. So I got to give her a shout out too.
Shout out to girlfriend.
Yeah, shout out to girlfriend.
Is she out there with you, or is she in? Where are you from?
She's here right now, actually. She's in the house somewhere. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She hear you. You put that's what you doing.
Mm-hmm.
You You better recognize that if they ain't happy, you ain't happy.
Yeah, that is very true.
If they ain't happy, you ain't happy. Jada says you tell her that all the time.
Yeah. Since I was young.
Yeah, my children used to say that all the time too, but I'm just waiting. But it's too late because I'm retired already now.
Yeah. You retired yourself.
You already retired myself. I was tired. And you already told us where the listeners can connect you. You said Spotify, Apple,
Anchor, Google Play.
So what time and what day could they listen to this?
Well, I'm starting a new season, so I'm not sure how I'm going to structure my episodes, but you can catch up on the episodes that's already been recorded if you go listen on any of those platforms we just named. So, yes, it's a lot of good stuff.
So you know what? We've been talking about your podcast and everything, but I never asked you how long have you been doing it?
2 years. 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, cool. And 2 years, 2 years exactly, or
2 years. Yeah, 2 years and some change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really like it then if you've been doing it that long?
Yeah, I believe in it.
Right. So do you do anything else besides the podcasting?
No, not at the moment. Not creatively, no.
So do you have a studio or what?
No, I rent out studios in Houston.
Oh, you rent out. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But this season is gonna be a lot different. I'm going to be doing things myself, more myself. Actually, when I first started, it was in my bedroom. Can you imagine that? My bedroom was big enough to fit a whole. I had like a red couch, like a big couch, and I had a whole setup on the other half of my room, and people would come in there. That's when we first started. So, yeah, I was doing it by myself.
I listened to one of your podcasts. All that podcast, it was you were interviewing. Let me see, a beautician or somebody.
A beautician?
A stylist?
Yes, Jeanette. Yes,
that's her name, Jeanette.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but
funny thing about that episode, I was outside and I used my phone to record on the Anchor app. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have none of that. I used my phone to record that audio. Anchor, I'm telling you guys, Anchor, use it. ANCHOR.
Okay, so when I'm using StreamYard. Okay, so
well, this is good. This is good too. This is good.
Okay, and sometime when I first started it had a lot of echo in it. A lot of static when I first started. Until I kept bothering them and tell them about it and everything, and they kind of fixed it up for me because if I'm gonna use something, you're not gonna mess me up. So I kept going in there and tell them this isn't working. My guests, you can barely hear them, or every time one person speaks, it's you can hear the static and everything. So now is getting a whole lot better. So, but I'm gonna try that Anchor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that Anchor. I'll try anything that's free.
yeah, it's free.
Well, StreamYard is free, but I've got it whereas I want to bring more than one guest, or I can bring at least 10 on, so I had to pay for that. And I had to pay for that one. But I like I said, I enjoy coming on every Tuesday night. Tuesday, I don't talk to anybody on Tuesdays. Because I need my mind clear.
Yeah.
And so I always set a time to do everything at a certain time. And so if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me after 7:30. After I finish my podcast, I don't go anywhere. I stay at my house. It's on Tuesdays, except when I need something to eat. Because I don't cook. So well, let me ask you a question. Where can Liz out? No, what advice would you give someone waiting to pursue a career similar to yours?
One, like I said earlier, be consistent is the biggest thing, and realize that there's really no such thing as failure. At the end of the day, everything is a learning experience. So instead of beating yourself up because you didn't like this episode, or this is not turning out, only two people liked your post or something like that. Instead of beating yourself up and feeling discouraged, like, make a plan and try to figure out, like, okay, I have 2 likes now, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna have 2 likes in 2 months, So just think like that. Always think ahead and think long term. Play the long game. Don't play the short game, because you're going to be discouraged a lot, and you're going to get frustrated and ultimately quit. So play the long game and realize that this is a long game. Like, this is a long game. Like, I started, I didn't have as many likes as I do now. When I started, I didn't have as many followers as I do now. And followers I have right now, I know is going to be nothing compared to the followers I have next year. So it's like, you have to play the long game, and the best way to stay on track. So a lot of people like make these big goals, right? And then they get overwhelmed and anxiety, because it's like, oh, this big thing, this big goal, like, oh, it's scary, right? But the way to not have anxiety and to really attack those big goals is to set weekly goals. So, okay, you have a big goal. Like, okay, say a person wants to get 1,000 listens per episode. All right, that's a big goal.
Right.
How do I do that?
Right.
Week 1, I'm going to do this. Week 2, I'm going to do that. Week 3. So you're doing all these things to get you to the big goal. So that makes your mind go away from the goal and focuses it on this one small thing I have to do to get me to that big goal. So that'll be my advice. And to write everything down. I write everything down.
Right. Exactly.
Write it down. Even for spiritual reasons, write it down. You know,
right.
You know, the Bible does say write
everything down.
Exactly.
Moses.
Yes. Write everything down. Be organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be my advice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if say that I bring you on and it's like all of a sudden I just went blank. And and that's when, you know, like you said, you need to write everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And it could happen. And but I want to keep this going because, like I said, I like it, and I like talking, and of course, if I get nervous sometimes, and that's nature.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if I didn't get nervous, I probably wouldn't, do anything. I probably would let things go right. But I just, like I said, I want to keep it going. I want to get my guests ahead. I like to get my guests ahead of time, or way ahead of time. Like I said, I'm working on December. I'm at least the last week in December now because I have everything up until December. I need to start working on January.
Yeah.
So that I can be on 2 years. 3 years or whatever. I want to, even though pandemic is here, we're not going to be in the pandemic forever. I know we're not, So, but even after it's over, I want to keep going. Let people give the audience. I like to give the audience something they enjoy.
Right.
So maybe I might bring Michael Jackson on. I'm gonna bring Michael Jackson on for y'all.
Yeah, you definitely gonna blow up after that episode.
I'm going to go to the Neverlands.
Yeah.
Bring them little monkeys and everything out there.
Yeah, bring Bubbles on there.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it tonight, Kyrie. You're very special. You're very special to me, and I know that to my listening audience right now, some of them on here are your relatives. And I know you're special to them also.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to tell them something and everything that I see Jada, I see Julia, I see Bobby, I see.
Hi.
you know you're gonna see Jada, like you said. I'm gonna see Jada.
I'm gonna see my mama for sure.
Mama. Okay then. Well, guys, we had this tonight. We had Kyrie. Were you with number 10? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was in the top 20 podcasters. He was number 10 in the top 20 podcasters, and he's a young guy. He's 26 years old, and that says a whole lot, because you're 26 and you are already up there with the big dogs.
Not finished yet, though. Job's not finished.
That's okay. Okay. Tomorrow will be something different, and you can always find him on Spotify, Anchor. Apple, and give me another. I know it was 4 or 5 of them.
Google Play.
Google Play.
Yeah.
And so that's another one I have to get on Google Play.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can listen to them. I did listen to a couple of his podcasts. The name of it is All That Podcast. And so let's go get on and listen to him. He's been on there. He's an awesome young man. I want to thank him for coming on the show tonight. I appreciate you, and because you did not have to accept it, and I appreciate you for accepting it and giving me some tips on what to do, and to have a better show. So God bless you. It's my prayer, and to my audience, if I can help somebody as I pass along this way, then I know that my living is not in vain. God bless you. God keep you. And this is our show for the Blue Table Talk, and see you. And Bobby says that I taught him all of that. And I see you on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we will have Sherry Omo, who is the director of our Beaumont Health Department. She will be on to talk to us about the coronavirus and the spike that's going up. So tune in next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Blue Table Talk with Sherry Omo. Okay, God bless you and God keep you. Stay on, Kyrie. Bye.